Hi everyone, welcome to the next part of this page from Tiny Year by Agotapop, the Pumpkin Town page. Now we're going to come in a tad closer, but we have quite a large spread to make a start on today. Now, as I said in previous videos, I'm not doing this all in one go. I'm just checking you can just about see. Let's put you straight, there we go. But I'm going to do it in little manageable chunks, both for me and for you. So I'm going to start with something that's easy for me, and I'm going to do some leaves, and then we're going to go from there. Now these leaves are behind our pumpkins, so they're sort of framing the picture a little bit, and our pumpkins are likely to have some oranges in there, maybe some greens, but probably oranges. So I'm thinking if I make the leaves not orange, then that will help to form a frame. I'm going to start with some green leaves actually. Where shall I start? I'm going to start with my favourite green, which is the grass blade. But I've got to find it. There it is. So grass blade, this is Black Widow's pencils, by the way. And I'm going to do like these leaves. I always think just look like they're green. I don't know why. That's how it feels to me. So this is where we're starting. Any leaf that looks like this, we're going to do in the same way. So I'm going to start to fade my pencil so that as we get up towards the top, there's very little. So layer it up down at the bottom and a lot less at the top. And the same with this one. I hope everyone's well today. I've just started recording this one straight after the last video, so there's nothing much has happened really today. It's nearly 11. My husband and one son are at work. The other one is enjoying his very last week of his holidays before he starts back at uni. He's got his timetable. He was just going through it with me earlier when he was having his breakfast. So he's got 2 hours on a Monday morning, 9:15 to 11:15. So he'll have that afternoon. He'll get home about 1ish, so have that afternoon. Then he's got Tuesdays off, so he'll have to have a driving lesson. Then on a Wednesday he has a 9:15 again, but he has 2 classes, so he's in longer. I can't remember exactly. I'm going to ask him to send it to me actually. And then on a Thursday and Friday he doesn't start until a bit later in the morning, but he finishes so late that he'll have to take an evening meal with him, which means that I'm just looking to see if there's any more leaves like this. I can't see any. Oh no, there's this one, which means that yeah, those 2 days he just won't be able to do any work, you know, homework or anything. He usually gets set homework. My other son never does. We're using the lime fruit to do the finish the leaves off. So I'm going to go back through them all and just do the tips in this very bright colour. So he was saying Tuesdays will be his homework day, but of course he's got a driving lesson that takes half a day because it's a 2-hour lesson, and he has to get to it on the train to get to the place where his instructor's based, because I couldn't find an instructor in the town where we are. It's big enough, they're just busy, you know, and I wanted someone who was recommended, and this person was, so that helped, you know, sort of persuaded me. Now we're going to go for a darker green for these, any ones that are sort of several bunched on a stem. I think there's just those, but I might find more. And for that one I'm going to use the forest. And we're going to use the same technique. Now I'm assuming that that little mark there is a leaf from this stem. I'm assuming that. And then fade to the tip. So he's going to be busy, and he's going to be live streaming one evening. I'm not sure which one. He used to do his day off, but I don't know whether he will choose to do that or not again. And also he live streams on a Sunday afternoon. I've missed that leaf, didn't I? As well. So he has all that to do too. And making videos and things like that. But he's usually very good at balancing it all, but he does have extra classes this year. He's in more often. He was hoping he'd only be in for a few days, but yeah. But he takes it in his stride. So, well, it is what it is. Just got to get on sort of attitude, which is good. Now I'm going to just do this one. So back to my grass blade. And then back to the lime fruit. I do want a second colour for the leaves that I've just coloured as well, but I don't want anything quite as light. I think, it's examining my swatch chart. I think the olive green might work quite nicely. Oh, this is the olive green. My neighbour is doing some sort of machine work, I'm not sure, cutting something. Oh well, I'm sure you can hear me over it. You may not be able to hear it anyway. I haven't seen him lately to speak to, but anyway, he was out at the weekend actually and asked we could grab a parcel off his doorstep because it was raining really hard. Now these oak leaves I want to do in a slightly yellowy tone. Oh, I don't know, I'm turning into the wrong bit. We've got this sort of green tea I think I'm going to use. Here it is. So it's a sort of greeny yellowy colour I rather like. What I will do is, like I did with these on the very first picture on this page, I'm going to do a different colour on the very edge. And I'm assuming that is a bit of it too. I'm going to do sort of brown on the edge to make it look like it's just changing for the autumn. What do we have here? I knew there was another one somewhere. We're lucky in this set because we do have quite a good range of greens and other autumnal colours. That's why I picked the set really of pencils. I knew that it did. Now, are there any more? Have I missed any? I don't think so. Makes a change. We'll see. Maybe I'm bragging. Now, I need a colour for the edge. I want a darkish brown. I think I am going to go for the dark chocolate colour. There it is. Dark chocolate. What I'm going to do is carefully go around the edge, just blend it in just a tad. So we've got like a layer of darker leaf. So it just looks like it's starting to turn all the way around. It takes a bit of concentration. There we go. and just working through them all. Got some berries to do down there. They've just caught my eye. That'll be fun. I'll enjoy those. Oh yes, this one. I haven't got as many as I thought of these. I don't know why I thought there was more. Now we've got more leaves to do after this one. I'm trying to think of how to make them a little bit different. So we've got this one here, and I could potentially do it the same as this one here, and maybe this one, and then maybe do those two the same. I think it's quite nice to have some the same colours. So where should we go with this one? We could go slightly green to brown. So what could I use? What's that? Yeah, if I use the leaf green and then go to a brown, I think that's what I'll do. Just give it a sharpen. So here it is, leaf green. And I'll start right down here. So I want it darker at the bottom and then fade up. And sort of just fade off really. And then which one did I say I was going to do? Oh, this one. Yeah. I think it's interesting if you look at the size of the leaves and the size of the pumpkins. The pumpkins are quite small. Really small. Maybe the leaves are just gigantic. I think it's fun when proportions are changed a little bit. It's nice. There we go. Now, for that top bit, I said a bit of brown. I might go for a more yellowy brown, orangey. What should we go for? Yeah, I'm going to do the stink bug. Is that one there? Yeah. So it's more of a lighter browny yellow colour. I think it'll work better. So I want it quite dark here on the tip. And just sort of blend it in, take it down as far as you think it works really. It's a bit orangey this. I said I wasn't going to do an orangey colour. Never mind. It's only a few little bits. Yes, I was talking to you yesterday about some mindfulness I'd come across by a Buddhist monk, and he's interviewed on several podcasts because promoting his book. And I'm thinking darker brown leaf here. Let's start with the huntsman and go from there. We'll fade it down to a yellowy colour at the end. So here's our huntsman. I can't get it. Oh, there we go. And on one of these podcasts, he was saying that he did a 4-year retreat. And when he left sort of society, I suppose, blackberries were around a little bit, but that was all. And when he came back, mobile phones had really taken off, and he was very confused by the fact that everyone was just looking down all the time, and it was just so different to what he'd left. It was quite fascinating. As I find it quite fascinating that people do that. People walk along with a phone in their hand and don't look up. How do you not fall over things? From a practical point of view, I would not trust myself to do that. I'm going to grab the mahogany next. I would think, I would probably be tripping over, falling over, bumping into people, not seeing people that I knew that I was walking past. It just is odd. I don't see it happening a lot around where I live. But he said it was London where he first went and experienced this. And he was talking about how distracting they are. I think we all know that. and saying how the interviewer was saying how she finds her phone really hard to leave her phone alone. She feels like she's missing something that's happening in the world if she isn't continuously looking at her phone. And it's a really interesting thing, isn't it? Because I get that draw as well. I get that. And she said even when she's meditating, her brain is thinking, am I missing something? You know. And he said, put your phone in a different room, which was a really good idea. Just reminded me, talking of phones, that mine had switched off. I needed to put it back on. Because I'm just checking in case my son gets in touch with me. But it doesn't distract me as much as it could. Dark tan when I'm here doing this, because I'm having to engage with what I'm doing and we're talking. It takes quite a lot of effort to do that, which means your mind can't be doing something else as well, which is, I think, a good thing. But yes, I found it quite interesting. Fortunately, my children and my husband don't use their phone while they're walking along, so that's good. They don't even listen to anything, you know. Some people will have a music plugged in, that sort of thing. I think that's good to some extent. Like, if you find that walking or exercising is so deadly dull that you wouldn't do it unless you had something to listen to, then I can see that listening to something, I'm going to use the cardboard, is valuable because it encourages you and helps you. But generally, when I'm walking, I want to look around at what's going on. I don't know if it's just because I'm so nosy, because if I'm walking along the canal path and there's wildlife to look at, plants, things in the water, you know, that sort of thing, which I haven't done for a while. But along the road where it's a bit less muddy this time of year, you know, I'm very nosy. I'm looking in people's gardens, looking at the cars, shops, whatever happens to be, I happen to be passing, the people, you know, there's plenty to look at. So, and for me, that is the reality that I would miss, you know, what's going on outside in my actual community rather than on the phone, which, yes, it tells me what's going on in the world. Don't always want to know what's going on in the world, to be honest. And I'm just going to find a colour for some mushrooms. I'm going to do dragon breath. I'm going to do these two. They just caught my eye. Yeah, and I think what goes on locally impacts me far more. Some people would disagree with me, but I feel that what's going on locally has far more impact on me than what goes on nationally or internationally, you know. And I have far more influence locally. So if I'm walking along and I see some rubbish, I can pick it up and put it in the bin and make the environment nicer. Oh, it's a big crash outside. Not that big, just someone dropped something. Or if I see, say, a drain's leaking or blocked, or a pipe's leaking, or someone's fly tipped some rubbish, I can go to my local council and report that and try and improve the environment. I can walk along, I can smile at people, I can wish them good morning. You know, I can do things. Whereas on a national or international level, I can't go to a prime minister or head of a country and have any influence whatsoever on what they're doing on that particular day. Even if I'm reading about it in the news, putting it on social media, it's not going to make any difference. So I like to engage with things that I do have influence over. This is oyster. And I feel that if we can make each local community across the whole world a nicer place by being present, by being happy, friendly, good citizens, that's as far as we can. I know some people can't go out, so then they're more limited, but they can still invite people round, or if they're capable of that, or just send positive thoughts and vibes. You know, there are things that we can do to just improve without having to worry about what's going on out there where we can't do anything. Because I think this is sundown. I think sometimes looking out there into the world at what's going on can make us feel a bit like we haven't got any power or strength, you know, cut off and useless, and we want to help this and that and we can't. So just start local, and you feel that the impact of doing an act of kindness is absolutely huge, and I think it's more than any of us even realise. For example, not only, I'm going to use a mushroom on the stems, not only does it impact the person you do it for, who's going to be grateful and happy, you hope. You hope. The little skirty bit I want to do much lighter. I'm going to use the light mocha for that. But it does you good too. Apparently there are health benefits of being kind. It lowers your stress levels, lowers your blood pressure, does all sorts of really amazing things for you physiologically. Nope, not going to try and say the word. For your health, let's say that. This one, slightly lighter orangey colour. Maybe toadstool seems an appropriate colour. I think we used that before. But there it is, toadstool. So there is somewhere where you can have influence, where you can help yourself and others. And as I say, even if you're not able to go out into the world, or the environment you live in doesn't allow you to do that or something, you know, when you see people, communicate with people, whether it's online, face to face, whether you're inside, outside, with family, with friends, whatever, you know, kindness, it's massive, massive. And if we can spread kindness throughout the whole world just by being kind to people that we are in contact with, because it's contagious. Can you imagine? Amazing. We can have amazing influence just by doing little things. And that's what I love about all these things that I'm learning. I'm going to be using the cream, here it is, to do this stem. And I find that quite empowering as well. Maybe that's a bit of a, I don't know, bit of a you know, strange word, but just to know that a little thing that I can do can influence a lot of people, you know. Now I'm going to do this sort of ground here, because here we've got grass and moss, so I'm just going to sort of colour it in a light greenish colour. I think I am going to use the calm lime. It's quite a bright colour, but I think it will work. Now I'm doing all these little bits the same colour at the moment. I might change my mind. Trying to go around those little stony bits. There we go. So yes, I find it. I mean, some people will go, oh, it won't make that much difference, but why not give it a try? Even if it doesn't make a big difference to a lot of people, it will make some difference to a few people. I think that's good enough. It doesn't take much effort to smile or pick up a bit of litter and put it in the bin, or, you know, say good morning to someone, give someone a hug, that sort of thing, you know. I think my husband felt good because he helped a neighbour out at the weekend where they wanted to lift somewhere, and he was happy to help. You know, he felt good being able to help someone out. He felt nice too that they felt they could come and ask, you know. Now we have these stones. I don't want them to be really dark, but what I'm going to do is choose a dark colour. I'm going to choose a colour called mud. I'm not going to press very hard, so they aren't, they are still quite dark. Oh well, they aren't as dark as they could be. There's one here as well, look. Have you noticed that I've avoided doing any pumpkins? Now I do think this bit needs another shade of green. Just going to grab the green tea that we've got here. Just going to put a bit in there. Just to give it a slightly different look on there. That's that. Now we've got another little set of mushrooms that I haven't done. I've just not spotted those. I'm going in with another orangey type colour. Maybe we'll just go for the carrot this time. But we are against a pumpkin. That was going to do orange. Nope, not going to do that. Put that away. I am going to go for the sandpiper. This is a much lighter, peachier type colour. Whoop, where is it? There you go. Sandpiper. Oh, it needs a sharpen. There we go. It's better. I'm trying to make the edges a bit darker. The centre a bit lighter. And then we have those stems to do. Let me have a quick peep. Maybe the fawn might work for that. So many colours on this picture. It's going to be a lot of putting away. Sometimes I put them away right away and just leave them slightly out of the case, slightly not pushed right in, so that I remember which ones I've used. But I'm going to do these berries. Now I think I'm going to do these as berries as well. Okay. Now what I want is a sort of rich red, but not too pink. I think I'm going to have to go for the rusty colour. It's a lot of rust based colours, isn't it? We have rust, light rust and rusty. There we go. Rusty is quite a brown, really. It's got a nice bit of red in. I think it's a good berry colour. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to put more around the edge, a bit less in the middle. Make them look a little bit more spherical, if I can. There we go. And then we've got these three up here. Didn't notice them, but luckily they'll work. If I'd done this sort of colour on the leaf, I'd have to find something different for them. And then these ones in here, I'm assuming that's what they are. Could be anything really, couldn't they? But I think they look nice as berries. And they seem the right sort of size. Like that. And then we're just going to colour in that basin or bowl. What colour should we do? I'm thinking a goldish colour. What do we have? Olive gold. It's a bit greeny goldish, but it doesn't matter. It'll work. Going to sort of fade it towards the middle. There we go. There. Now, I think that's probably enough for one video, and the next one we can just do all the pumpkins. I may not have left myself enough to fill another half an hour, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that is me for today. We've basically done everything but the pumpkins' houses, haven't we? But there we go. Thank you for watching today. The next video will be available tomorrow. Unless you're a member, you would have had the compilation ages ago. But for everyone else, you will get it. You just have to wait till tomorrow. So thank you very much for watching. Hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and happy colouring.